I'm like sympathetic to her. And I like that in a cop show where it's not like I agree with what she's doing. Obviously, I don't think you should kidnap women and keep them as dolls. That's not the point. All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of Little Miss. For those of you who are new here, my name's Riley, and every week I pick a topic of conversation designed to make you, the listener, feel as if you're in the room with a friend having the same conversation. We are going to be doing another Little Miss media episode. It's going to be just me and Taylor this week, and we're going to be talking about Criminal Minds because we both love Criminal Minds. Also, I posted a bunch of clips from my last episode that we just like briefly mentioned Criminal Minds, and people really like them. So we are going to be talking about each of us are going to give at least 3 favorite episodes when we talk about our favorite character and our favorite quotation mark favorite unsub.
Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first. Although I feel like we should give a disclaimer that it's not a graphic show. It can be a disturbing show. Don't watch it if you're easily disturbed.
It can be. Most of it, like the only like the original seasons are all TV-14. There's nothing like truly graphic shown, but it is disturbing. Like obviously the subject matter is, serial killers, and they are doing profiling, getting inside people's heads. Like it can be a bit disturbing. So like if that's not your cup of tea,
please don't watch it. I know we're talking about it and you're going to go, I should watch it. Please don't watch it.
Yeah. If that's not something you enjoy, you're probably not going to like it.
Yeah. We just went on a girls trip and we watched like a scary movie with a friend. And then Taylor and I went to bed, slept like babies. She was like, oh, I was up all night. And it wasn't even Criminal Minds, but it was just a scary movie. And I'm like, I put on Criminal Minds and fall asleep.
Yeah.
So Taylor and I are... Yeah. Some people can't take it, and that's totally fine. Just that's the disclaimer.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, so we're going to go through each of our 3 favorite episodes. You go first.
Number 1, I had a really hard time narrowing this down. I did do it, but as I told you earlier, I had 14 honorable mentions.
That is crazy. 14 is crazy.
Yeah, like I really struggled to like figure it out, but I settled on at my number 1, Moseley Lane.
I kind of figured that would be your number 1.
That is definitely one of my favorite episodes. I've seen it multiple times. It's in season 5. It's episode 16 for anybody wondering. The subject is about kids who go missing over a number of years, and this mom who like always believed her son was alive. I think it's a great episode. I do understand why some people might not enjoy it because it is a disturbing subject, obviously, like kids, child abuse and things.
Yeah. Give them the brief rundown of what happens.
All right. So in the episode, spoiler alert, there is a little girl who goes missing. She's abducted from like a carnival or something. And then there's the BAU is called in, who is the unit, and they are like looking for her. And a mom shows up who one of the characters knows her pretty well. She comes in every like time a kid goes missing and like thinks like, oh, it's the same guy who took my kid. She's never given up hope that her son is gonna like come home, even though it's been like 8 years since he disappeared. So like the odds are he's probably dead. And basically the episode is about like how they prove like actually it is the same guy, and it's a team who have been taking kids over the course of the last 8 years, and her son is alive. Like they have kept these kids for a long time, and it is kind of a sadder ending, like because there is a kid who does die in there, like, but the original boy does come home. And I always like that ending. I think it's a really good episode. I also think they did a good job of like believing women in that episode. Yeah, I do think my description is not very good. No, I don't think it's like a great summary.
But I like that in a TV show, especially in the 2000s, a woman came in and was like, my son, like, or my daughter. Was it her son? No, it was her son. But the girl went missing. Yeah. Then she was like, yeah, like I believe it's the same person. I know she came in for years and they didn't believe her, but I like the end resolution is that she was right.
I agree. I think she's a great character as far as like she moved heaven and earth to find her son. But they also do like show the flip side of that, of like how paralyzing that was for her. Because there's other parents who like they find their kids either dead or alive, but like they had all moved on.
Yeah.
And that's not wrong. Like that, they had to. In order to like be there for their other children, to like save their marriages, they moved on. And she didn't. She kept that hope alive for 8 years, but she also lost her husband. She wasn't in contact with her daughter, who was still around. Like she had lost all those connections because hope is paralyzing. And so I think they did a good job of like showing how like it was a good thing she did that, but also like the cost of like what it took from her.
No, that's true. And I think that's like the concept behind Criminal Minds is that like there's always a bad guy and they are always bad. But the concept of it is that we see beyond. You're supposed to see more nuance within people. And I know she's not the unsub, but I think it is supposed to draw more light on nuance in horrible situations.
Agreed. And obviously Criminal Minds is the name of the show. And a lot of the episodes do focus on the criminal mind. But in this episode, it was really her episode.
Yeah.
A lot of it is about her psychology and like how she ended up here. I also I think JJ, who is one of my favorite characters, I think she's a really good character, especially in the early seasons. She's the one who believes her and is like, I actually think she might be right. And she really backs her up. And then Emily Prentice, who's another female character, backs up JJ. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, I think JJ's right. Because when JJ presents the case, one of the men, Derek, who I love, but he's just kind of like, well, do you think maybe you believe her now because you're a mom?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Do you think maybe it's just because, like, you know, motherhood has changed you and that's why you believe her now? And Emily, like, really backs her up. Is like, well, I'm not a mom. Mm-hmm. And I actually think there's a really solid case here. Mm-hmm. I like that aspect.
That's true. That's a good episode. I actually didn't remember that. Okay, I'll go into these aren't in necessarily order because it was hard to pick a favorite episode.
Yeah.
But I'll just go with the first one I wrote down. The first one on my list is season 5, episode 12, Uncanny Valley.
Ooh, yeah. That's in my honorable mentions.
Okay. Which basically, to set up the scene, there's it's like a certain body type of women that keeps going missing, where they're very small and they're very petite. But it's like different skin types, different nationalities, that kind of thing. But they're all small and they're all very petite. These girls like start going missing. And then when they find their bodies, they're like well preserved, haven't been moved much, just like...
And they're dressed weird.
Yeah. So the BAU gets called in and they're like, they're like obviously like searching for this person. And the end of the episode is essentially that this woman, and I like women unsubs because I feel like they're very different.
Yeah.
The majority of men, because that's how it is, the majority of men do like
commit these kind of crimes.
So they find it, and it's this woman who was sexually assaulted as a kid by her psychiatrist father. Yeah. Or he was a psychiatrist, right?
He is. Weirdly played by the guy who played Riker.
I know.
From Next Generation.
I hate that.
It's a
little Star Trek overlap. I hate that. But basically, she was sexually abused by her psychiatrist father as a child, and she had this like box of dolls that helped her. Mm-hmm. And then as an adult, she got like a medical license. She's a nurse or something. So she understood anesthesia and like select anesthesia. I don't know. But she was basically kidnapping these women and treating them as dolls.
Yes. Because
she would dress them up and keep them in her house.
Her set of dolls was taken by her father.
Yes.
It was taken away. And then she's trying to replace the dolls with these women. And she, like, the death is an unexpected or like not unexpected, an unwanted side effect.
Yes, she doesn't mean to kill them, but they just die of natural causes.
Like
she doesn't take care of them. They're people. They're not dolls.
Yes, but she wants them to be dolls, so she treats them like dolls.
Yes,
it's a very like unsettling episode, but I agree, it's a great episode.
Yeah, I like that episode. I've watched it a lot, and I think I like it because the unsub is I'm like sympathetic to her, and I like that in a cop show where it's not like I agree with what she's doing. Obviously, I don't think you should kidnap women and keep them as dolls. That's not the point. But the point was that as a trauma causes us to do crazy things.
Yeah,
and I like. Yeah, it's just a good episode.
You could at least like it explained her behavior but didn't excuse it.
Yes.
And I think that is like the key to a good unsub, like or an unsub that I particularly enjoy is that I can understand their behavior but not excuse it.
Yeah, fair. And I also I think it's Reid that comes in at the end and is like
he's very kind to her.
And I mean I love Reid. We'll get into that. But I like that the concept of the show is basically that we see them as more than just what they've done.
Yes.
And I think he was like, what did he say? He was like, I have dolls, like we can find different dolls, like we'll replace these or something.
No, he finds the originals.
Oh,
because her dad had kept them and he gave them to a different little girl that he was, spoiler alert, also molesting. Ugh. But he found the dolls and he was like, hey, I got your originals. You don't need these anymore.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, anywhere you go, like whatever happens next, you get to keep these dolls. They're going to go with you. Yeah. And he was very kind to her.
Yeah. I love that. All right. That's my first episode.
Good pick. My next one is 7 Seconds.
Okay. Yes, that's the mall episode.
Yes. It's from season 3, episode 5.
Okay. This one was listed. I do want to say before she gets into it that A lot of the episodes listed on like best Criminal Minds episodes ever, some of my least favorite.
Agreed.
When I was researching this, they're awful.
They are not some of my favorites.
No.
But this is an exception.
Yes, I did see this and I did like this episode.
No, I actually think this one's kind of, well, it is on the top rated, so maybe it's not, but I kind of thought it was underrated because there is no serial killer. Like, this is a much more like domestic situation. And I think it's like a really well done episode. If you want to like introduce someone to Criminal Minds and you're like, here's like kind of what they do, because it shows like the profiling. It shows all of them in action. This is after Gideon leaves. So it's kind of like the core group. Like it's Gideon and Elle have left and have now been replaced by Rossi and Emily. I'm like, this is going to be the core group for a lot of seasons. I think it, like, to summarize the episode, basically this little girl goes missing in a mall in 7 seconds. And the BAU comes in to try and find her.
Why did they get called in? Because they usually don't in such a short period of time. Was it just because it was a child?
Well, it's actually the same as Moseley Lane, where they do get called in on kidnappings. But they only get called in for the first 48 hours, basically. Because like that's when they're the most useful. Like they build a profile, they hand it out, they look for them, but then like they don't stay for like ever.
Okay.
But they do come in on the initial search sometimes for like high profile kidnappings. And obviously Moseley Lane turned out to be a very different situation. But in this case, they come in. There was another little girl who had like been kidnapped and had been killed in the area. So like they're thinking maybe this is serial. And so they come in, they're looking for her, and it actually ends up being her aunt who had kidnapped her and hidden her in the mall because she was jealous of the attention that she was getting from her husband,
Which
the little girl's uncle.
Yeah.
It's a great episode though. Like I think it's just really well done. It's not really graphic. Obviously the subject is disturbing as far as like a child going missing and like the circumstances surrounding that. But like I think if you're looking for an intro episode to Criminal Minds, it's a good choice because it's not too intense. There's nothing really graphic. There is no real serial killer, but it showcases the profiling part of it.
Yeah. No, it's a good episode. I'm trying to think about anything to add. I don't think I do. Okay. Next for me is season 2, episode 21, Open Season.
Ooh, Open Season is a good one.
I've seen this one a lot, and I think because it's set in I think it's Idaho wilderness, but there's something about it that like kind of reminds me of home because it's a hunting episode. Yeah. And
there's something very Wyoming about it.
There's something, it easily could be Wyoming. Yeah. It also has one of my favorite characters, which is Gideon. I loved Gideon. So essentially what happens is people are like found being hunted in the woods and they have like arrow marks on them. So the BAU comes in and essentially what they find is that it's like these 2 brothers who had a very traumatic upbringing and basically were raised like wolves, essentially.
They're raised very feral.
Yes. By their uncle or something. And then their uncle dies, which by the way, I think I learned a lot of Criminal Minds about how a stressor, like someone can have all these circumstances, but there generally is an event that causes it to snap. So these boys can be like raised their entire lives with a very deranged uncle, but when the uncle dies, that's when it like
it's a
triggers. Yes, a stressor and then a trigger. That's right. So they find him, and the part about this episode that I really love because of Gideon is when the younger brother gets killed. Like, I forget exactly what happens. I think one of his, like...
He's stabbed by the girl that he's hunting.
Period.
And, like,
as she
more
should.
power to her. No,
as she should. Yeah.
I love her. I think she did a great job.
Yes. But basically, one of the actual criminals is dying in the woods after being a horrible person. Like, there's no... Like what you said, you can explain, you can't excuse behavior.
Yeah, like, what they did is still horribly wrong.
Yes. And then... Gideon finds him before they find the other brother, and he just kind of like sits with him and calms him down, and
he's very kind to him.
He's very kind. I'm realizing that like the episodes I included, they just treat the unsub very kindly, even though that's not necessarily warranted because they are horrible people. Yeah, so that is one of my favorite episodes, and like I said, I love that it's like very wilderness western. There's something very nostalgic about that, and I think there's something that kind of like clicks when I watch that, where I'm like, oh, that kind of a lot of people I grew up with.
True. I think the episode it's very interesting how they talk about like the values that we grow up with really shape like our moral center, and if you grow up with different values, that is going to shape your moral center. Like the things you think are horribly wrong are because that was instilled in you in childhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like killing and things like that aren't necessarily something that you would have a repulsive reaction to if that wasn't instilled in you.
Yeah.
Like if you grow up in a environment where that's like normal, you might not have the same like conscience, like reaction of like, oh, that's bad.
Yes. And I think they also did a good job of making the unsubs sympathetic, and again, not empathetic, but sympathetic to where they like never saw those people as people. They saw them as animals. The way that we see, and I don't, by the way, but the way that like hunters see deer, that's how they saw those people.
It's true. They saw them as like big game.
Yes. Big game.
Big game.
The biggest. Yeah.
But I do think it's very interesting, the psychology of it. And I agree with you. Like, Gideon's one of my favorite characters as well. He's only in the first 2 seasons, unfortunately, because the actor decided to leave, and I understand why.
Yeah, wasn't he having like nightmares?
Yeah, he basically found the subject too disturbing. He went on to be in Homeland. It's a different TV show. But like, he had a good career after this. He did fine. But like, I loved his character.
Yeah,
I thought he was great. And he has one of my favorite lines in it. Now, it's paraphrasing a little bit, but he's talking to someone else. I think it's Reid. And he's talking about how the reason that they can catch these criminals is because they can do the one thing that the criminals can't, which is empathize. And he was talking about how, like, in order to be able to catch these people, you have to be able to empathize with them.
Yeah.
It doesn't like mean that you are justifying their actions, but you have to be able to understand why they're doing it. In order to do that, you have to be able to empathize.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a really interesting viewpoint and a nuanced approach to it that I think the later seasons of Criminal Minds sort of lost.
Yeah, agreed. Because like, as we all know, after like season, honestly, 11.
I agree.
Yeah, but like definitely 12 and on just completely flopped.
I think anything after 11 is...
Because when does Hotch leave?
11.
Yeah, after Hotch leaves,
I think he leaves like
care.
the first or second episode of season 12.
Okay,
so like,
yeah. But yeah, he probably was checked out before that.
Yeah. I mean, he's like barely even in 11. Then he leaves in the very beginning of season 12. And after that, like, there's still a few good episodes in there. I'm not saying there's not. Like, I was willing to watch because I was still invested enough in the other characters. It's not as good.
Yeah.
It's a clear, huge downhill dive.
Agreed. And that is interesting because, yeah, I actually haven't watched that much of that season or of those seasons because I thought they sucked. But I could absolutely see that being the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can't write Criminal Minds without having empathy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a cop show.
No, I actually think that's it because, like, especially the later seasons, they get into, like, they're not good. They're not good.
They're not good.
I've watched them because, like, I'm a sucker.
And that's fair. Like, we need stuff to watch. I can understand. But we tried to watch, like, season 13 or whatever.
Like, not season 13. It's, like, season 17.
Okay, yeah.
It's, like, the new ones, like, after it got canceled.
Evolution.
Yes.
The girls and I tried to watch, like, Evolution.
Yeah.
And we get to the point where we quote this all the time, but I don't even remember what happened, but basically Rossi is in a bunker and they're like, they act like it's high stress.
He's been kidnapped.
He's been kidnapped, yes. And he has to find a way out. And we think, oh, this is a big deal. And then they give him truly nothing but time, resources, and C4.
Yeah. They
give him all the time in the world, all of the resources, and a literal pack of C4 to blow his way out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And after that, I'm like, it's not. You guys are. Nobody cares.
It's bad writing. I appreciate what they were trying to do, and I do still watch the later seasons, but I kind of view them like fan fiction almost.
Yeah.
Like, all my favorite characters are here, but this isn't canon. This isn't real.
And that's
this
fair.
is just like silly, goofy, like someone had an idea and they wanted to like make a little show about it.
Yeah.
Because it's just very unserious. It's not well done.
Yeah. No, it's not. But no, I do think that's fair.
But yeah, in the later seasons, like there's one thing where they're like weak, like they hold much harder lines with like, we're not going to like we're not going to do that for him because he's like a serial killer. He's a bad person. And I'm like, I completely understand why you wouldn't want to do that because he is a bad person.
They're all bad people. Yeah. That should never be like...
Yeah, they're all bad people.
Yes.
But I'm also like, this would save lives.
Yes.
Like, if you did this, even though it like morally would feel icky for you, it would save lives because then he would give you something. And I remember in earlier seasons of Criminal Minds, that like moral dilemma and like the gray areas of like, how far do you go to like save lives was more central.
Yeah.
And the later seasons really are just like black and white, like right and wrong. They don't have to really like do any digging like morally. And I'm
Which
like,
is like, that's every cop show ever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I liked Elliot Stabler in SVU.
Yes.
Everyone hates Elliot. And I was like, well, no, I liked it because, again, was it correct? Probably not. But one thing about Elliot, he made his own rules.
True.
And he had gray areas.
He did. And it made him an interesting, nuanced character. Was he a good cop? Debatable.
No.
Debatable.
Actually debatable, because I think he did save lives.
He did
save
lives.
And I like the debate of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did save lives, and oftentimes he was right. There were times he was wrong.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah. I just like that way more.
No, I like nuance in shows. Too. Not every show has to be nuanced, but I think a show like Criminal Minds has to be nuanced in order to be successful. Mm-hmm. And that's why those early seasons were so successful.
They were really good. Yeah.
Anyway, getting into my third one. So this is a personal favorite. This is not in the top rated. This is not one that I think a lot of people would
that's
love.
what I wanted. I don't want the top rated. Ian Doyle can kiss my butt. I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care. This is Legacy from season 2, episode 22.
Remind me.
So this is shortly before Gideon leaves. Okay. So this is a Gideon episode. It's where there's like homeless people who are going missing, and the detective shows up. And he has all of his little journals where he's been like keeping track of like all the people in Skid Row. And he's like, they're going missing, and nobody believes him because they're like, well, they're transient. Nobody.
Okay, yes. It's not Pig Farm though, right?
No.
Okay.
Not that one.
Right. Then yes, I know. Which, by the way, is a good episode. It's just horrible.
Yeah. Part of what I put into like a favorite of mine, like for movies or TV shows or episodes, is rewatchability.
Yes. Okay.
So all of these are episodes that I personally rewatch quite a bit. The Pig Farm one, To Hell and Back, I think, is a 2-parter. It is well done. It's deeply disturbing, and it's not rewatchable for me.
Okay.
I have rewatched it on occasion.
I have episodes like that too.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
But I think it's well done, but it's just not something that I really enjoy.
I think the worst thing about the Pig Farm is based on real life.
Yes.
It's
very upsetting. Yeah. The shoes are very upsetting.
Yeah.
But anyway, Legacy is not a dissimilar concept where it's a person who is like trying to clean up the streets. They are kidnapping homeless people, junkies, prostitutes, or sex workers. Mm-hmm. And they are putting them into a maze, and then basically the maze is like there's no way out, and like they all end up eventually being caught and killed.
Okay.
I think the detective in that is great.
Okay.
He has like OCD, and that's why a lot of people don't take him seriously. He's very monk coded.
Okay.
Where he's like very like he has to have everything in order, but like that's why he also caught this, is because he was like paying attention to these people that nobody else was, and he was keeping track of the numbers, and like he was able to see like, oh, there's a pattern here. Like people who have consistently been here for years are all of a sudden gone, like with no notice. No one knows where they've gone. I think he's really good. I think Hotch, this is one of his better episodes, because Hotch also is kind of like, I don't know if this guy is for real. I think he might be crazy.
Which also I want to say, like when I was talking about believing women, I do think it's a very valid response of like detectives and people in this area to not.
Yes.
I think, yeah. I think we were talking about too, like when Morgan was like, well, you sure you're a mother? Like, I think that's kind of a prick thing to say.
Ooh, I don't like it.
I didn't like that. But the idea of like not 100% believing someone they bring to you, I understand there's nuance with that.
True. And I do see where like, you can't just believe somebody because they have a theory. Mm-hmm. And the BAU has very limited resources. They can't put a ton of time and energy into a case where like there might not be anything there.
Right.
But like they do agree to go and like talk to his captain and kind of like get the lay of the land. And I really like the scene between Hotch and the captain, where the captain's like, these are transients. These are junkies. Like basically like this is what they do. They go missing.
They go missing. Yeah.
And Hotch really gets his back up, because like Hotch is very professional most of the time. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really push back a ton. He will on occasion, but this is one of the times he pushes back where he's like, do you not think junkies can be scared? Mm-hmm. Do you not think homeless people can be hurt? Because they can. And if that's the case, like they still deserve our help.
Yeah.
And he pushes back pretty hard, and he gets him to like, or JJ figures out like it's a federal case because it crossed state lines or something. So they do go in, they start interviewing people, and they do figure out this is a real case. It's a really good episode in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's like as critically acclaimed. Like, I don't know that other people love it as much, but I think it's really good.
And that's all that matters. I will say, this is one of the episodes I can't rewatch.
Yeah, that's fair. it's
I don't like this
kind of
episode.
heavy.
I do think that Criminal Minds was like way ahead of its time in a lot of areas where they were like very empathetic and very like pro sex workers, pro homeless people, pro houseless people who are less than us.
Yes, people who society views as less than
not
us.
that they're less than us, circumstances were less than us. Yes, I agree.
No, I thought that was really like, because this guy had basically killed at least 60 people, and I think they found more when they finally like caught him. And it's because nobody cared about these people. Nobody was looking for them. And I think that really hit home for me as far as like the serial killers who are currently operating in the US probably are operating killing people that nobody is looking for.
Yeah.
People who kill suburban housewives get caught because people care what happens to them. People who kill homeless people don't, because nobody cares. And that episode really stuck with me, and I really like it.
No, that is a good episode. All right, the last one on my list of favorite episodes is Boys of Sudworth Place.
Also one of my honorable mentions.
Okay, yes. This one is disturbing for content material because it is also about pedophilia.
Yeah, a theme that I've noticed is that.
Yes, yeah. But also, like, SVU is my favorite show, so we shouldn't be, like, shocked.
Agreed.
So. But essentially what happens is this, like, attorney is kidnapped who is very, what's the word? I want to say well-known, but that's not it.
He's, like, very well-respected, kind of, like, he's like a pillar of the community. A lot of people really like him.
Yes. He's a well-respected attorney, and then he gets thrown into this like massive pit, and like it doesn't go well for him. I'll say that. Yeah. And so the first like half of the episode, you empathize with him because you're like, hey, I probably wouldn't want to get kidnapped and thrown in a pit with glass either.
Yeah, I don't think I have a really good time with that.
Yeah, that's probably, I feel bad for this guy. And then as the episode progresses, the BAU finds like a secret apartment that he had where he was actually like molesting boys for 20 plus years.
Yeah, he's actually icky.
He's actually horrible. And then like these boys came back and were like enacting their revenge.
Yeah, like, and then you're like, oh, actually, maybe this is justice. And
let me tell you, your feelings about it do switch pretty rapidly. And I think that's why I liked this episode, because it was like, and again, I'm realizing, and I think that also, I know I'm going off on like a track here, but I think one of the things that pisses me off so much about the, like, if you Google the top 10 Criminal Minds unsubs, it's like Mr. Scratch, George Foyet.
Shut up.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't care about them because there's nothing to empathize with.
Yeah.
There's nothing to sympathize with.
I think like if
George Foyet was a freak.
If you want to talk about like scariest,
maybe. Yeah.
Even then you're pushing it.
Yeah.
Because like I thought they were low-key a little dumb.
Yeah, it's the same. They were not my favorite unsubs at all.
No.
And I just feel like people, I don't know if it's actually a good like indication of the fan base. I don't know if that's like actually how the fan base feels, or if that's like what ChatGPT said through the like the AI Google.
Right.
But those were like the top episodes of like, these are the unsubs, this are the episodes. And I don't feel that way. I feel like the best episodes were the ones where you could sympathize with the unsubs.
Yeah, I agree.
That brought you into, como se dice, the criminal mind.
That's why I like the earlier seasons better too, because it was before they got into like these weird like multiple episode unsubs.
Yeah,
where like they keep
reoccurring
and like coming back and exacting revenge. And I'm like, anyway, it's fine because I still love the show.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But part of what makes Criminal Minds great, in my opinion, is that it's grounded in semi-reality.
Yes.
And so then, like, when you do these, like, elaborate, like, villains who come back multiple times and are, like, exacting this weird, complex revenge, it sort of takes me out of it. 'Cause I'm like, all right, I don't know what we're talking about right now.
Agreed. I actually don't think that many serial killers have, like, tracked and found freaking the main agent's wife and kids. I would be surprised if that actually happens.
Like, I'm sure it has maybe once or twice in the history of, like, serial killing. I'm sure. I'm not saying it can't ever happen.
Yeah.
But, like, the amount of times it happens in Criminal Minds is crazy.
No. Pass. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my episodes.
Top 3.
We'll go into at least list like 2 or 3 of your oh, I do have an honorable mention. I'll list that first. Ahead. One of my favorite episodes is, it's really gross. I don't have it written down. It's just in my head, but it's the one where I think they're searching for the girl in the woods, and the end of it is really gross. But I like the scene in the plane between Reid and Morgan because Morgan is like very Christian.
Yes.
And he's like, I forget exactly what he says, but basically, like, I don't believe that the devil could be here. I don't believe that this is.
He doesn't believe in the devil, but he does believe in God.
Which is like, now, like, I agree with Reid 100%. That's why I couldn't even like figure out what Reid or what Morgan was saying. So I'm like, But Reid, who is pretty agnostic atheist, he's like a very scientific person. He goes, well, I think like throughout all of cultures ever, you have to have good or bad to balance.
Yeah.
If there is a perfect, there's an evil. And he was like, oh, well, maybe you don't believe in the devil because you don't really believe in God.
Yeah.
And that's like one of my favorite like scenes in Criminal Minds ever. And I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
So that's my honorable mention.
That is a good one. On my honorable mention list is Jones from season 2.
Remind me.
That's the one where they first introduced the character who becomes JJ's husband.
And I do love him.
I'm a huge fan of his.
I like Will, right?
Will.
Yeah. Some people in those, again, I feel like I'm very anti every other Criminal Minds fan because they were like, we hate Will.
I love
Will.
Will was one of my favorite characters. He was a great husband to JJ.
Exactly. He was so
excellent father to their children.
He was like, there were scenes where he said like, can you be home with us? Like, can we have a family? Which is super fair.
Yeah.
But like overall, he basically was like, go live your life.
And even when he did say those things, he always apologized later and was like, hey, like, I know your job's really important to you. Like, I support you completely. Like, honestly, he was a nicer partner than like I probably would have been. Like, Will was extremely supportive of JJ. He was.
Like, people want complicated characters and they can't handle JJ's husband. When he was like, I wish you were here, they're like, go die, you misogynistic prick.
They can't handle JJ's husband being like, hey, I kind of wish when you were heavily pregnant that you wouldn't be out in the field.
And I wish that you wouldn't have a true, like, a actual scope on your belly to be shot.
It's like, well, I mean, I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying, like, you have to, like, see his point.
Yeah.
Anyway. And that also has a female unsub. And I think she's great.
Which remind me, I don't really.
So Jones is where it's like New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. There's a serial killer who's like basically gutting men, like killing men in a very violent way.
Isn't it supposed to be like
Jack the Ripper?
Yes,
like
cognizant of Jack the Ripper.
It's very like mirroring Jack the Ripper, even sending letters to the police. And eventually they figure out that the killer is a woman who was sexually assaulted during Mardi Gras. And when she went to the police, his dad believed her, the main guy, JJ's husband. His dad did believe her because that was the cop who took it, but his partner didn't. And so they wouldn't pursue the case. And they were basically like, you were kind of asking for it. Like, And like she mirrors a lot of that language in her letters where she was like, he was asking to be ripped, or like she's basically like mirroring all of that of like sexual assault victims and feeling like
the cop is?
No, the woman.
Oh, like the one killing them?
Yes.
Okay.
Like she's the one who was sexually assaulted.
Okay. And then she kind of takes on the horrible mindset of, okay, yes.
She starts mirroring that, like what she was told when she was assaulted. She starts mirroring that of like, well, they were asking it for it. Like they followed me into an alley and they didn't even like think about it. Like she starts mirroring that mindset. And I think she is a great unsub.
Yes.
Because I could
of that is,
very much empathize with her. I didn't excuse it because like these men did not deserve to be brutally killed. They were just men. But I did understand why she did it. And I like the ending of that because Will is very kind to her. And he like believes her and he like tells her that. And I really like the ending.
I have seen that episode. I don't remember it as well. But I do feel like overall Will's a very nice man.
He is.
And he's very kind.
He's very kind.
I was always like super happy that they ended up together, which I mean, we talked about it in the women that got wronged in media, but that was why I was so pissed when she all of a sudden was like, I don't even like my husband.
No, I thought that was the stupidest
they had a great marriage.
Yeah. You want to talk about least favorite episodes?
Yes.
Ooh, I hate that.
Yeah.
And then also Profiler Profiled season 2. That's where we get some Derek background. They go home to his hometown and we kind of learn more about his childhood. I think that's a really good episode.
And he was molested as a kid, right?
Yeah. And then Pleasure is My Business from season 4. That one has like a high-end sex worker.
Oh, everyone did list this, and I was never like drawn to that episode.
I understand why. I don't think it's like one of the best episodes that Criminal Minds has ever done, but like it's a very Hotch-centric episode.
And I do love Hotch.
And I really like the ending because he like holds her hand when she dies, and like her one request is like that she wants to expose all of these men who are like hypocritical and like who have abandoned their families and like really suck, these powerful men. And the last like scene is like him holding her hand, and then you hear like a voiceover of like a news crew like talking about this, and it's implied that he like did that for her. That he like released the media file she had.
I see why you like that.
Yeah.
No, those are great episodes. Okay, we're gonna move on to favorite characters. Let me see.
I know who your favorite character is.
Well, I wrote that. I said Matthew Gray Gubler because he's hot.
And period.
And then I wrote, and I think that's like what everyone thought I would say. And by the way, that is what I'm saying because he is so hot.
He is.
It's actually like unfair. And also the worst part about Matthew Gray Gubler, who is Spencer Reid in the show, I should say that, but to me they're one and the same, is that he's also a nice person. And that is also devastating. Nice person. Yeah, I know, because I have been in close proximity with him, and literally everyone that ever interacted with him was like, he's the best. Yeah, he's super nice. Weirdly, he's way more outgoing than Reid.
Yeah, he's a much more like extroverted,
he's
like
very
personable
extroverted
person in real life.
Yes, but he's just as nice. He is super happy to meet fans. He smiled at me personally, like, haha. And also like I haven't included, but like the night that I saw him, he was like taking care of his grandma. Like he genuinely is a nice person, and that is just me like freaking getting on Matthew Gray Gubler because I love him. But I will say that as far as like favorite characters go, I do love Spencer Reid for obvious reasons. Hotch or Gideon is really up there for me.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I think I like them because I guess it's similar with Elliot Stabler. They're like very different characters, but I like them for the same reason of I like very strong masculine men who are pro women.
Yes.
And I like flawed characters in the way that they may not be perfect in every way. Like the scene when Gideon Gideon was never close with Penelope.
Yeah.
He never really liked her. No, he never got her.
Yeah. I think he wasn't like against her. He just did not get her.
Agreed. Yeah. And like that's actually okay with me because he was so empathetic in other ways. Like I actually don't need a man to be like a carbon copy.
Like
women.
Perfect.
Yes. I don't need them to be perfect. I don't need them to be like women are never wrong and never annoying because I know some annoying women. I just need them to be like empathetic, and when it counts, I need them to be there.
Yes.
And I feel like Hotch, Gideon, and like obviously Spencer. Spencer. I just feel like they were like very comforting men for me.
Yeah. I agree. I completely agree. Like obviously I like a lot of the core characters from Criminal Minds.
Yes, I like the girls too.
Like there's very few I didn't like of the core group. There's characters I didn't love, but of the core group, like I love Emily, I love JJ, Derek Morgan, who is played by Shamar Moore, who is one of the most attractive men on the planet.
And I will say one thing I love about Criminal Minds is that they had a smash for everyone.
They did.
And they had a nerd smash. They had like an objectively hot smash. Yeah. They had gorgeous women. Even Hotch and Gideon were dad smashes.
Oh,
like, yeah, I love that about them. Thank you. And like other shows, can we please take note?
Yes, they were all great. Love all of them. But I would agree with you that my top three would definitely be Hotch at the top.
Okay.
Gideon and Spencer.
Yeah.
Like I loved all thrhree of them. Gideon is there for such a limited amount of time that I can't make him my top.
But he made a big impact when he was.
He was great. And those early seasons. Yeah. Those early seasons are some of my favorite. Spencer is iconic. I love him. I think he's truly one of the best written characters in television. I think he's really, really good. And best acted.
Yes, he did a great job.
But for me, it's always Hotch.
Yeah.
Hotchner is truly, I think, my favorite character in the whole show. And that is like a big reason of why it like went downhill for me later. I think the writing goes downhill, but his character leaving hurt it a lot. But I liked... like you said, where like he's very moral. He's like a good person genuinely, but he's not over the top. He does make mistakes. There are times when like he doesn't handle situations very well, but he's always extremely professional. And I think I really like that about a male character who's like kind of in charge, is that he was very professional. He treated everybody in a very like professional coworker way, where he wasn't like playing favorites or like acting weird around women or like anything like that. He was just super professional. But he's also very kind. He was very like kind to his team, very loyal.
Even that scene when JJ, I forget, they all meld together, but there's that episode where one of JJ's kids gets sick.
Yes.
And immediately like she's on the phone with Will and she's talking. And like, again, the cases they're dealing with are like they're very emotional and very serious.
Yeah.
Like, it's other people dying, and Hotch goes in and goes like, well, you'll have to like go tonight.
You're gonna go home.
Yeah, and he was like, you should go home to your kid.
Yeah. Like, one of my favorite scenes is from the Kingfisher episodes, which the end of season 1.
Yes.
Not my favorite episodes, but in those, like, Elle is arrested, who, by the way, not one of my favorite characters.
No.
But when he like goes in to like help her, he like without pausing, he's just talking to like the cop sitting across. Without pausing, he takes off his suit coat and puts it on her because she's still wearing like her nightgown. And then like at the end, she is shot, and then she's in the hospital. And like at the end of the second episode, he like goes to her house and like cleans up all the blood, like before she gets home.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so kind.
He was, yeah.
He was very like underrated in like he wasn't loud about it, but he was just very like kind and like took really good care of his team, but in a super professional way.
But even, and I do agree with that, but even in that like plot line, when she kills her rapist, he is like, you should not be on my team.
That's exactly it. We're like,
he was very fair.
He was very fair. And like, I didn't necessarily agree with him on like, I thought she was kind of right. I'm like, I don't think she's wrong. But I do see from his perspective of like, this, I can't have somebody on my team who takes the law into their own hands. Yeah. I cannot have a vigilante on my team who like sets somebody up to be killed. Yeah. Even if you like think they deserve it. And Hotch was very like moral in that way, where he's like, I understand why you did it, but like, I'm not going to like condone that, and you're not going to be on my team.
Yeah.
No, and I did understand
100%. And I think that's like what I said, where I don't need men who side with women 100% of the time and say they're never wrong.
Agreed.
Because that's not realistic, because women are sometimes wrong. Again, I'm always going to side with a woman, but I don't necessarily need a man to. Yeah. No, I love his character.
Mm-hmm. And like, that's a big reason why I like pleasure is my business.
Yes.
Because that was, it showcased like his softer side, because he is such a serious character.
He is. He's very stoic.
He's very serious, very stoic. There's that one episode where he talks to like JJ, and it's like, she's kind of having a tough time. And he's just like, hey, like, I know like these cases are really tough. They cross your desk first. Like, a lot of these women are honestly look like you. Like, they're young and professionals. And he's like, it's okay to not be okay. Yeah. Like, if you're having a hard time, that's okay. Mm-hmm. I think he was just a really well-written, really well-acted character.
I agree.
And I was really sorry to see him go.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care if he kicked anything. I don't care what he kicked in. They should have kept him.
I don't care who he hit.
I don't care. Could have been me, and I'd say keep him in.
Yeah.
And I also liked, going back to like perfect characters, I like that scene with, well, I mean, I like the whole plot line where he loses his wife because he's like addicted to the job.
Yes.
Because that was like, yeah, he's very empathetic in these areas. It doesn't mean he was a great husband. It doesn't mean he was a bad one. But he was honestly probably pretty negligent of her.
He tried. Mm-hmm. I never thought she was wrong to leave.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate her. The fandom hates Haley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or that doesn't surprise me, considering the fact I apparently have different opinions from every diehard Criminal Minds fan ever.
I think Haley could have been a little more interesting and a little bit better written, but like, I didn't think she was wrong to leave. Mm-hmm. Like, Hotch was not a great husband. Mm-hmm. He was gone a lot. He prioritized work over her and their new baby.
Yeah.
You know, he was a great team leader. I think he was a really good person. Yeah. He had flaws.
I think probably the later seasons of Criminal Mind, plus TV in general, they don't write characters like that anymore. Everything is so black and white.
I agree. They've lost a lot of nuance. I think part of that is just like the division amongst a lot of people these days of just like, you're either for or against.
Yes, everything is this side or that side.
There's also like this idea of morality police or purity police of like going around being like, well, you did one bad thing, so you're a bad person.
Cancel culture, yeah.
Cancel culture. And it's just like,
people don't really work like that.
Exactly. I understand why you might feel that way, but people don't work like that, as you said. And like, to have interesting, nuanced characters, you have to have some gray areas. You have to be willing to let them have flaws. And flaws that aren't desirable. Because sometimes there's flaws that are like, oh, like they work too hard. Mm-hmm. Okay. Or like, maybe they drink a little too much, but it never like actually affects their relationships. And it's like, well, it would. Mm-hmm. It would. And I'm like, if you want to like write a character with a nuance, they have to have negative consequences to it too. Yeah. And his negative consequence was he lost his wife.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even with George Forsett, which is, I don't care. Foyet. George Foyet. Mm-hmm. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I don't know why I knew that. I only knew that because I've been reading all these stupid articles about how much they love him.
Thank you for correcting it, because they would get on me. Yeah. But with him, the reason that Hotch like loses his family and like actually his wife dies and like he has all of these horrible things that happen after that is because he won't make the deal with him. Because Foyet offers him the same deal he offered the other guy, which is that like, if you make this deal with me, I'll stop killing people. I'll do it. And like Hotch won't do it. He refuses to let him have that power over him. And as a consequence, his wife dies.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Like, but was he right or wrong to do that? I don't know. But I think it's a nuanced like plot line.
Yes. I like plot lines where you can debate if that was right or wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah. And yeah, I didn't think I realized before this episode how much I like Criminal Minds because of that. Because there's a lot of shows I watch currently, but yeah, I just feel like the culture has changed so much to cancel culture where like we aren't allowed to debate anything anymore.
We're allowed to like flawed characters.
Yes.
Or if you do like a flawed character,
choices.
yes, you have to like admit like, oh, I know they're really flawed, but I still like them. It's like, what if you just like them? What if you just like a character, even though they're flawed?
Yeah. I'm glad that we were on the same page about Gideon and Hotch and Reid.
Yeah.
I knew everyone would love Reid. I was not sure if everyone would love Gideon.
I think Gideon is such a good character.
Yeah.
He had a lot more darkness than Hotch did. Like he was really haunted by his past and by like the being in the BAU for so long, but I think he's really well written, well acted.
And I think he also falls into, I obviously wish he had more screen time, but I think he falls into what we were just talking about with Hotch, where like his flaw was not that his wife died and it was not that he had these terrible things happen to him because of the unsubs. His flaw was that he chose not to participate at all.
Yes.
Yeah. He was like, and whether through the actor or like you said, the character had been in there for decades, but like either one, he was like, I'm out.
He said, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. And I do think that's fair. Although I obviously wish he'd been in there more.
I agree. I think he was very nuanced.
Yeah.
Because as you said, like he wasn't always like the kindest person, but he was very empathetic, weirdly. Yes. I think there was this interesting duality to him that like none of the other characters quite ever captured. He was really good.
When Reid starts having nightmares and Morgan's like, you should talk to Gideon because he had those a long time.
Yeah, like he knows a lot. Like he has a lot of wisdom when it comes to this.
Yeah. And I like that too of like, I think it's what you were talking about with what scene was it where you have to have empathy to be in this job?
Yeah, it's with Gideon talking, I think, to Reid.
To someone.
Where he was like, we have to do the one thing they can't do.
Yeah.
Which is empathize.
Yeah. I agree with that. Where I think that's like what made Gideon such a good character was because he was empathetic while again not being a perfect character. Because he was kind of a prick to Garcia. He did not care for her.
And he also like often would come in like very like bull in a china shop with like the local police and things, and Hotch would be the one to come in and kind of smooth that over and be like, hey, like we don't want to step on any toes, like we're trying to be respectful. Gideon didn't care.
No.
Gideon was there to work.
Gideon was weirdly more empathetic with the unsub hunting people in the woods than he was with the cops trying to find him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which was interesting, and like you can debate like if that's a good thing or not. It was effective.
Yeah. Yay! Okay, now we're going to move on to the last part of the episode, which is our favorite unsubs. And take this lightly, because when we say favorite, we don't mean like we love this person.
They're a great person.
Yes, because like we said, every unsub is bad. But I think when we say favorite, we mean either, depending on who we pick, their writing choices or their ability for us to empathize with them, sympathize, like, you know, for whatever reason, there are quote unquote favorite unsub.
Yes.
So it was tough because I think my favorite unsub probably would have been the girls with the doll or the girl with the dolls.
Yes.
I think that would have been my favorite because I feel like it was just such a good example of sexual assault.
Yes. And like how that affected her.
Yeah. And I want to say realistic, although I don't think most sexual assault victims are like kidnapping people, making them dolls.
They did also make that a point in Criminal Minds that like a lot of most people who are abused or like go through traumatic events do not go on to then do these things.
And I agree with that. But I think it was just my favorite unsub because it at least made the point that people who go through those assaults are not like you and I.
Yes.
Yeah.
They carry that trauma with them.
They carry that trauma with them, and it causes them to do other things.
Yes.
Yes. So I think that probably would have been my favorite unsub. I'm going to pick a different one though, because I already listed that episode. My favorite unsub was in season 2, episode 6, The Boogeyman.
Ooh, The Boogeyman. Okay. Yeah.
And it's basically and I like this because it just like gives you more of an insight into psychopaths when it is. That's also my favorite SVU episode, the psychopath episode.
Yeah.
Because they're kids.
Yeah.
And basically it's where all these kids like go missing and then killed in the forest. And the BAU gets called in to find this like quote unquote boogeyman of like who's doing this, what sexual predator is doing this, like what grown man is out here hunting kids. And it goes like at the end of the episode, you find out that it was in fact a peer. It was a middle schooler
like
who just had no
10-year-old.
empathy. Yes. And they would like legitimately walk home from school and then he would just get mad about something, or he just had like this like undeniable rage and he had no empathy, so he would kill his peers.
Yes, that's a great episode, by the way. Really good unsub. He was scary.
He was
a scary little kid.
He was scary and he was realistic, and I think it was just a good episode.
Yeah, I think Criminal Minds did a good job. I remember there's a few episodes where I kind of talked about like what makes a serial killer, and it's not just trauma. Like it's also like a lot of times it was like they were born with or had like damage to the frontal lobe, then trauma, mix that in, then a trigger, and then also just personality. Like a lot of things go into it where it's not just like, oh, a bad thing happens, so you become a bad person.
Yeah.
Or even like you were born a psychopath, so you become a serial killer. Like actually a lot of like factors go into it.
There's often a perfect storm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, my favorite unsub, and this did take some narrowing down, but I settled on Tobias Henkel.
Okay. And I did see that one a lot, and it was like I considered it because he is a split personality.
Yes.
And I explain who he is.
I do love a multiple personality.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting like concept in any movie, but especially in crime. This is a season 2 unsub. He ends up kidnapping Reid, Spencer Reid.
Yes.
And he gets him addicted to drugs while he is in his care. Not care. Well, he's in his...
Yeah, care is crazy.
While he is...
when he's in his uncare.
Yeah, while he's his prisoner. But he basically has like this horrific childhood, like truly horrible. And he develops 2 personalities like on top of his own. So he has 3 total. So there's Tobias, who is the original. Then he has an alter, which is his father, Charles, because he actually ends up killing his dad. And after that is when he splits. That's his trigger. Okay. So his stressor was his childhood. His trigger is killing his dad when he's like a teenager. And then he develops the alter personality of Charles, who's his dad, and an archangel named Raphael.
Yes. And this one was also interesting because it like brought in religion in a crazy way.
Yes, because his dad was like very religious and would like
evangelical.
Yes, would use that as like a way to punish his son, and like ended up burning like a cross in his forehead. And like the reason that he ends up killing people is because of like sins he perceives them committing, like adultery or greed, or like he perceived them committing biblical sins and then takes them and kills them.
And like it got to the point where they were so split that Tobias would phone the police. Yes, that's what I remember, is that Tobias, before Raphael would kill someone, Tobias, the split personality, would phone the police and be like, you guys need to get here.
Yes.
And then Raphael would kill them. And based on like, I think that one was like adultery, where he thinks the husband's cheating on the wife. Yeah.
But like obviously what he's doing is terrible. He does terrible things to people. But I think Tobias is a really interesting character. And like, it's interesting how Reid talks about him later, because he is the one who is like tortured.
Traumatized.
He's deeply traumatized by this event. But he later, when there's another split personality, like Reid really tries to help them, and they're like kind of like, why are you going so hard for this? And he's like, because Tobias Henkel saved my life. And he viewed Tobias Henkel as like the person who had saved him, and that
even though it's the same body that okay, interesting.
That Charles and Raphael were the ones who had tortured him, and that Tobias was actually like a good person at his core, and that he tried to do the right thing, and he did call 911, and he did try. He just wasn't able to resist like these alter personalities he had. So that's why I think he's like a super interesting character. He does end up dying at the end, but I think he was really interesting. He had a long-lasting impact without coming back in weird, creepy ways where he like haunts the narrative.
Like, guys, let's not bring them back.
Like I don't need, like I don't mind them haunting the narrative as far as like the trauma that they cause. I don't need them to pop back up and like kidnap people and do weird stuff. I don't need that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I'm glad that you included Tobias Hankel because I was not going to include him simply because everyone loved him.
Yes.
And I just hadn't thought about him in a long time. And I was like, well, if they love Mr. Scratch, I probably don't love them.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's so fair.
No, I do think that is good because like Split is in my top 5 movies.
Yes.
And the idea of DID is like very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that like the concept of someone being completely outside of their like actions is real.
Yes. And I just think he's a really interesting character. I think the way Reid interacts with him later and like the trauma that he goes through, like the way that he responds to that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
This was fun. I like doing this. We watched a Criminal Minds episode before this.
Yeah.
We'll probably watch one after this.
Yeah. We'll continue watching them.
Yeah. We love this show. And I actually feel like we could have a lot to talk about if we did the inverse of least favorite.
Least favorite episodes, least favorite characters, least favorite unsubs.
Yes.
If you guys have any ideas or anything you want us to talk about.
Yes. DM me, comment on Spotify, whatever. There's like 1,000 ways to contact me. But yes, please do that. If you like this episode and you're excited to see the next one that we do, come on, guys, like, comment, share. If you follow me on Spotify, that means a lot. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.